Right. Now we're going to understand what exactly this web service is. So far we saw web application. What we saw earlier? Web application. Okay. And here web service. Every web service is a web application. Mean web application plus something. So in what way a web service is different from web application? That we need to understand. See, usually the output, who is going to use the output of any web application? From where the web application is going to take input? This is request. Input. Input means request. Output means response. These request responses it is obtaining from human. Whereas web service, see here, this is, let's say this is one web service. Web service means one software application. This one software application you have to interact with another software application, maybe developed in other language, maybe developed with other language. Usually this web service comes into existence when the software application size grows. For example, distributed application it is called. What is called? Distributed application means components of an application were distributed across geographically distributed computers. In one city, one computer, one component installed. In another city, another computer, another component installed. These two runs together. These two talks to each other. These two listens to each other. Then that kind of an application is called distributed application. Okay, whenever distributed application requirement came into picture. Say for example, way back, very early days, distributed components of distributed application, say for example, see, we'll discuss web service after a while. Distributed application, let us see first. Distributed application means here, let's say this is one computer. In one computer, one software application is running. Okay, in the network, in another computer, here what kind of network, those all underlying things are the low level things we are not going to touch anywhere here. Another application, let's say this is app 2, that is app 1. So now this is Java application, the other one also Java application. So these two can interact with each other. Means, one application, the left side means application 2 runs, so that JVM started here. At the same time, application 1 also started execution, so JVM 1 has started. JVM 1, JVM 2, two JVMs are running. So here, object existing in one JVM will talk to the object running in the other JVM. Means, talking means, call the methods. Here, JVM of this app2 object will create an instance. Here, one of the method will create an instance or object of the component running here in the other JVM. So here, how the communication can happen? Anyways, the communication will happen over HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. That is anyways common. I mean, not exactly HTTP, that is IP based communication. HTTP is also one kind of IP based communication. FTP is another kind of IP based communication. So many protocols are there which built on top of IP. So here RMI we use. RMI, remote method invocation. So using RMI protocol, one Java object will interact with the other Java object which is running in the different machine. So that is fine. Now again business sizes, enterprise business sizes are growing. There is no chance of running the other program in Java. The running other program may not be developed in Java. Maybe one application developed in Java, the other component of the same application may not be developed in Java. Maybe C#, maybe Python, maybe C++, something else. So if the other Java program, if other component is developed in Java, my component can talk to each other, talk to the other component. But other component is some other object, some other language object. For example, if I am returning a string, Java string that is, how Python can understand a Java string? It cannot understand. Are you getting me? So, for example, that web portals, so many portals you can see. Make My Trip is a wonderful example for that. Make My Trip. In Make My Trip, wow, very fastly open. Right, here in the single site, actually it is not site, it is an application, because background data is there, huge amount of database is there. So you should not call it as a website, it is an application. Okay, in layman means not IT guys. Maybe in IT they are working in non-programming environments, maybe programming environments, but they are working in system softwares, means device drivers or something. So they may call this is a website or web page, but being developers, being enterprise application developers, they are not supposed to call it as a site. It is an application because it is running with huge amounts of data background. Now here this is showing flights details here. The same website should not say website, application is reflecting the hotels details here. Is showing homestays, holidays, bus, train, everything here. For time being, we'll keep in the flights page. Suppose I want to have a flight booked from Bangalore, Vijayawada, 2nd August, traveler business class is not there in my bad place, so I will choose economy. Actually, premium economy is not there. August 2nd. Oh, very close it is. August 16th. Actually, I am traveling on that day. So now it's shown. Did you notice here? It is showing flight details from Indigo, Alliance Air, Air India, again Air India. Okay, instead of this, if you have chosen any city which have huge amount of traffic like New Delhi. Okay, the same date. You search. Now, see here. Go Air flights are there. Air India, Indigo, Air Asia, Spice, Vistara, Go First. I don't know, Go First. So these many flights are there. These many different companies' data Make My Trip is retrieving. So how one Java application can retrieve data? Let us assume this Make My Trip has developed in Java for time being. Okay, so what are minimum things you need to have to read data from any database? Huh? API? API means? Did you use it so far in this class? I am asking about what the things so far we used in this class. Viewer. Try to collect the data. Tell me, without having these details, what database is running in which IP address, port number, what is the database name, URL, username, password, these details. If you don't have these details, how is it possible to read any data? As per the knowledge so far we gained, we cannot read data. Now, again, we think about this Make My Trip fellows. They goes to Vistara, Indigo, AirAsia, Go First. These are all flights operators. They'll go and they ask, hey, please give me your email ID, your database URL, username, password. Do they give?
They are signed URLs. They will use signed URLs for driving.
Okay. Do you think they will give all the username, passwords, URLs? They never will. Then, moreover, they are all already, Make My Trip maybe came of just 15 years back. Before 15 years even Indigo was there, Air India was there, SpiceJet was there. After Make My Trip came, after so many years of establishment of all other flights, flight operators. Just Make My Trip is just a seller of tickets, ticket seller, that's all. Make My Trip don't have any flights of their own. Okay, right. Now, Make My Trip site development people don't have any chance to get the URL, username, password of databases running in other flights companies. The second thing, they are already using software developed by different languages. Maybe Indigo, C#, SpiceJet, maybe Python, AirAsia, maybe C++, Air India, also maybe C++. We don't know exactly, just for namesake I'm telling. Different languages they used to develop their internal software. They also will sell their tickets, right? So how they sell tickets? They also use some software. That software I'm telling about. That software. So whenever you walk into Indigo website, say for example Indigo website, Indigo Airlines. So here also you can buy Indigo tickets. The same way AirAsia also is there. AirAsia website also, AirAsia also provides some website. From there you can buy websites. Means they are using some software. From their software portal they are publishing a web page that we are accessing to buy tickets. So instead of these website, private specific websites, we are accessing the all flights websites, all flights details in a single page. So we can call this is a distributed application. What is this? This is a distributed application. If everyone used Java to develop software application, they use RMI protocol. Otherwise, here Make My Trip request will go to Indigo, then Indigo will send some response. In the same way, Make My Trip request goes to AirAsia. AirAsia server gives some response back to Indigo. So that is happening with the help of what? Web service. How different language components are talking to each other. If both of them are Java, so RMI is good. But if Java component want to interact with the C++ or something, anything, C++ or C# or Python, another different kind of a protocol is to be used. That is web service. When you are using web service, when you are calling methods, when both of them are Java objects, so Java predefined classes library we distribute. For example, this fellow will distribute Java class library to other fellow. So other fellow will take the library and keep in the class path and create objects and will call. But here web service. In what way the web service will be published? So the web service is published as web service endpoints. Web service endpoints. So simply they are called APIs. Actually they are called web service endpoint. But don't say if someone called API, don't fight with the people who called API. How I saw him, don't see like that. Okay? Earlier I saw very oddly towards him. But because, why I saw him? Because he is trying to say something which is outside of the scope by that time. Now if you say API, I appreciate you. Because we entered here. But actually, what is the perfect alternative name for API? Web service endpoint. No. When you are talking to someone else, you speak web service endpoint. But how you interpret it in your mind? With one part of one neuron to another neuron, how do you communicate? Web service endpoint, that is so critical. URL, simply. Web service endpoint is in the form of URL. Finish. But when you are talking to someone else, if you said URL, they say cheap. You say rich word, endpoint. So rich. I saw so many people, a few people back. way back. If I did something, he also did the same thing, exactly same thing. Whatever he said, he created, he says that portal. Whenever he is telling about my thing, he says site. I don't know the logic. Way back, it was way back. Before I was learning portlets in portlets, that is another protocol in Java. But it vanished very soon. Once Spring entered into picture, every area Spring has occupied. So portal. Yeah, this Make My Trip is actually portal. Distributed web-based applications are called portals, in which data has been distributed across database, not data. Database has distributed across multiple machines. Means here, Indigo fellow is Make My Trip fellow is taking data from Indigo server, Indigo database server, Go First database server, AirAsia data server, every database server. So that is actually called portal. Not the one which I created portal, you created server, site, not like that. Okay, portal have its own meaning. Web page, site, application and portal. Those four are completely different from each other. Web page, site, application, portal. Okay, right. Now web service. Again, these web services are of two types. Yeah, excuse me. So here web services, there are two types of web services majorly. They are SOAP. The first one is SOAP. The other one is REST. So simple object access protocol. This is based on HTTP, over HTTP. Over IP. This is a protocol based on IP based protocol. So, whereas REST, the other side, P, protocol, but here REST is not a protocol, representational state transfer. REST stands for representational state transfer. State means what? State of an object. What is state? State of an object. During serialization, object to state serialization, I told. State means all member variables, values as a whole. No, not all member variables. All non-static and non-transient variables content as a whole is called state of an object. So the same state, whatever state we discussed during serialization, the same state here. Representational state transfer. So state is getting transferred. State of an object is transferred from one to another place. This is totally based on over IP address. Over IP address. Sorry. HTTP. There is no other protocol required when you want to communicate, when you want to publish, or when you want to develop applications. They use REST. Whereas SOAP itself is a protocol. So what is protocol? Rules governed by the parties during the communication, by the peers during the communication. Suppose when I want to talk to you, we should follow some protocol. When I want to talk to my father, I should follow some kind of a protocol. When one constituency MLA want to talk to minister or CM, you have to follow some protocol. When an MLA want to talk to a district collector, they have to follow some protocol. There they may follow or may not follow, no one cares. But here in computer systems, these are all machines. So if one machine want to talk to other machine, the first machine has not followed the protocol, the second machine will not respond, will not understand basically. Don't think that, oh, is that strict guy? No, not strict actually. The other guy cannot understand. So if I talk to you in my language or the language you don't know, can you understand anything? The same way here. So that is protocol. In the SOAP, the communication will be totally based on XML, the total XML based communication, A huge XML document will be generated while one peer is talking to another peer. That is very huge document, XML document, that is called WSDL, WSDL document, Web Service Description Language. Means what all member data is carrying from here to there, member data and their data types, their ranges of data types. Like so many details will be transferred because the other programming language have to rebuild this object. For example, I am sending Java object to C# recipient. So C# have to build exactly the similar kind of an object the other side. In order to create exact similar kind of an object, I have to send few complete full details. But limitations are XML. Only XML. No other forms of data. The total protocol is XML, that's all. So, though it is very declarative, very huge, very cumbersome, it's not much popular. Yeah, yes, way back it was used a lot. The alternative is REST. So REST, here it is already existing protocol, that is HTTP. So data can be transferred in different formats. It can be XML, or it can be JSON, or it can be anything or anything. Any format. There are no limitations for the data format between two peers when communicating in REST. Okay, just actually this REST, SOAP is a protocol, but REST is an architectural style. Architectural style. REST is not protocol, it is an architectural style, that's all. So this is about SOAP and REST. But way back, long back, before Spring entered into REST, Java manufacturer Sun Microsystems has published some specifications for both SOAP and REST. So JAX WS was there for SOAP. JAX WS, here JAX RS. JAX Java API for XML, web service and RESTful service. So, and then later on, once Java manufacturer has published the specifications here as JAX WS and JAX RS, so many third-party implementation companies came and given implementation classes, how persistency.entity, persistency.id, this persistency.entity ID from specifications of Java. Later on, implementation objects are there in the memory, they are getting instantiated and availing for us, working for us. In the similar way, JAX, WS and RS APIs, first not APIs, first specs given by Sun, then later on implemented by so many other companies. So we have to use them by keeping in the build path. So many, that is a little complex structure all the way. But here when come to Spring, it's been very simplified. Very simplified means very. Okay, so now let us try to build some web service, REST web service, REST service or REST application versus RESTful application. REST application and RESTful application. Yeah, what are the 5 database operations you have? Find by ID, find all, save, update, delete. 5 operations. 5 out of 5 you are providing REST endpoints. Then that is called RESTful application. Out of the 5 operations you are allowing only 2 operations with REST. Remaining 3 operations some other way. Find all, find by ID. These 2 operations only you are allowing through REST. Remaining operations you are not allowing through REST. Some other interface, user interface you have. So that is not called RESTful application. For example, here Indigo. Indigo is allowing find all, find by ID to make my trip. So that is not RESTful application. For example, on a specific day, Indigo wanted to run a different kind of a flight between two cities. a small size flight. So on that day, what they want to do? They want to reduce the number of seats available. So modification should be done. So that modification will do within the computers or within the labs or within the IT infra of Indigo will do, not Make My Trip. Whatever Indigo have done, that Make My Trip will reflect. That's all. Make My Trip fellows only reading the data, and also whenever someone booked a ticket booked, those details they will send to Indigo fellows, Indigo IT systems. That's all. The necessary arrangements performing delete, insert, update, delete operations will be done by Indigo systems. Once Indigo systems has done the operation, will send back the response to Make My Trip. That Make My Trip will publish to us. Make My Trip don't have any tickets. In fact, Indigo is not selling tickets to Make My Trip to sell us. Indigo is just like a mirror. Sorry, Make My Trip is a mirror. How many seats are there in the Indigo? Those will be reflected. On a specific flight, you want to book all the seats. Directly you approach to Indigo. Don't go to Make My Trip. Directly you approach to Indigo. They will give you a huge discount. Once you booked all tickets, immediately the Make My Trip say cannot have a chance, don't have a chance. Hey Indigo, how you can sell all your tickets? Here I am here to sell your tickets. How you can sell your tickets? No. Indigo, Make My Trip don't have any chance. Make My Trip is after all a mirror. If Make My Trip sold 10 tickets, 10 into some X rupees. If Make My Trip sold 100 tickets, 100 into some X. So they will have their own terms. I mean, 100 tickets means I sold huge number of tickets, so that okay, you take a little more extra benefit. Some kind of business terms are there between those two guys. We need not put our fingers there. Let them do their own business. We try to understand the what application flow. That's all.
Sir, how did you booking on?
These from Indigo, from Make My Trip website, they send one request.
Which kind of request? Post request cannot be sent.
Get request is there, post request is there, post. So they are allowing few requests. Get to post. Post also with specific URL, a specific web service endpoint. That web service endpoint will go with so many other parameters that I am telling you. Many details are there, many things are there, like tokens, securities, so many are there. So directly, if you try to access directly the web service endpoint of Indigo, you cannot do. You don't get that token. The token is mandatory. They will remember that what token has given to whom. Whenever that token came, okay, Make My Trip fellow sent a request. Okay, they'll write, Make My Trip fellow sent 10 tickets. Make My Trip fellow sent me 1 ticket, like that. Not only Make My Trip, maybe, I don't know, maybe other websites are there to book online tickets, I don't know. So I use only Make My Trip. Even I don't use any Indigo directly. This Indigo I don't use, or any other. Right? Now, let us see how it is going to happen. I mean, how web services will work. Okay? Right.